Data, I mean, it's an asset and it should be treated as such. Data preparation and organization is very, very important. So if stored and organized correctly, an analyst can answer a question in seconds with a simple query. If stored disparately, it may take an analyst hours to piece together all of that data.
So data hoarding, good. So don't throw away your data.
Yes, don't ever throw away your data.
All right, today we have with us Bold Penguin's Director of Business Intelligence, Tyler Sellers. So welcome, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going? Glad to be here.
Going well. Yeah, I was just thinking I want to get your thoughts on a recent survey that I saw in Property Casualty 360. So it painted a pretty challenging picture of data and insurance. Only 2 out of 10 leaders surveys that they had coordination between their data systems and tools. So with all the tools currently available, why is this still such a problem and how do we solve it?
I've seen this problem solved by the three-headed monster of ETL, which is extract, transform, and load, and then data modeling, and then proliferation from there. So the first step is to get your data in a centralized database or data warehouse. Once the data is there, then you need someone to massage it, denormalize it, building a semantic layer for consumption, and then lastly, an analytics or reporting layer to sit on top of the semantic layer. So that's where you can enable your intelligence to be derived. Here at Bold Penguin, we use Fivetran as our ETL tool. So then this brings data in from all of our source systems into our Redshift data warehouse. So then from there, we build out a semantic layer on Redshift, making the data easier to digest, denormalize, very wide with summary columns to get the answers quickly. And then after that, we can put our reporting tools on top. So the third head of the monster for proliferation of having Python scripts and Tableau dashboards sitting on top of the semantic layer. So it is a bit of work getting the data into one place, and then you have to have someone massage it. And then after it's massaged, you then have to build out tools on top of it.
Gotcha. So it seems like there's definitely a lot of tools involved in all of the different steps. So which tools do you find the most helpful?
From an ETL standpoint, to get the data in a centralized place into your data warehouse, we use Fivetran, and I love Fivetran. It's a great tool. So what it allows you to do is easily create connectors to your source systems, and then also connectors to any third-party systems that you use as well, such as QuickBooks or Salesforce or Stripe. So then through these connectors, it then pipes all of the data into your data warehouse. So instead of your data residing in different areas and different systems, you have it in one centralized system. And then once it's in your data warehouse, then you do have to do scripting to massage the data or create a semantic layer to then join the different pieces and parts together and then put it and think of it as like a usable record that has all the elements needed to do analysis and reporting.
Gotcha. And you mentioned normalized data. How do you approach unstructured data?
No, great question. Unstructured data can definitely be very challenging. One thing that is nice with Redshift, which we use, is it can take data that comes in a JSON format or a giant long text file, and we can then parse it and break it up into something that's easier to use or better able to write queries against. One example that we've done too that is kind of neat is we've taken MP3 files from calls in our call center, and we've used the microservice of AWS Transcribe to then take the MP3 files and then convert them to text. And then from text, we can then apply text mining techniques to draw out value, sentiment, different use cases within the text itself once it resides in the data warehouse. So there are services out there, like AWS Transcribe to help take unstructured, sound files and convert them to text. And then once it's in a text format, you can do whatever you want with it.
That's a great example. I love that because that's really, there's so much data in phone calls, and that's not just us. I mean, that's every, insurance company, most organizations, I'm sure, have hours of phone calls logged. So to be able to actually take and do something with that data, yeah, that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
So we often hear terms like machine learning, deep learning, and AI being tossed around in the industry. Can you break it down? How are those terms the same or different?
Think of the terms as you would an evolution. So AI, artificial intelligence, came first, and that's simply the ability for a machine to do a human task on its own. So really, any form of automation could be considered AI. Machine learning builds upon AI by learning and improving upon itself. So this is done typically through mathematical algorithms. Deep learning is a part of machine learning, so it continues to build upon itself. It structures algorithms in layers to create artificial neural networks. So in general, machine learning, data scientists, they'll still monitor and retrain their models while introducing new inputs that may be relevant. But deep learning, that actually leverages its own neural networks to know if a model needs retrained or not. Deep learning, essentially, when you say neural network, it's meant to mimic a human's ability to apply reason and intuition to make intelligent decisions. So a famous example of deep learning would be Google's AlphaGo, which gained fame by defeating multiple renowned Go masters in the game of Go. So yeah, deep learning is definitely the future, and kind of takes more of the human element out of it than machine learning does.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think that's where a lot of non-data folks' brains go when you start thinking about all of these terms, is the ability to mirror or replicate the way the human brain works to really make decisions, and take some of that heavy lifting off of the human, right?
Yep, that's right.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to chat. Really enjoyed your insights from the data side.
Yeah, definitely. Pleasure.